Hello, welcome to MREA Moment, video number 5, the 8 goal categories of the MREA. I'm Ben Fairfield, and today we're going to be covering pages 107 through 115 in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So on page 108, you guys are going to see that it starts in this section on the 8 goal categories of the MREA with two types of numbers we should be tracking, or two categories we should be tracking. The first are our goal numbers. The second are our actual numbers, and there's a very big difference. This difference is really where we see people who hit and achieve high things and at high levels and those that don't. So first we need to know our goal numbers. We need to know what it is we're striving for. What are we working towards? How many sales we want to do? What the volume is? How much money we want to make? What are the goals? We're saying by the end of next year, how much do I want to make, do, have, all that kind of stuff. Those are our goals. The actual are the snapshots that we take, which we'll talk about, on an annual, monthly, and weekly basis to know where we are on pace to those goals. Now here's what the authors say on page 108, and I want to dig into this a little bit. So each time you assess your actual numbers, you get a pretty clear picture of how you're doing in regard to your annual goal numbers. That's what we just talked about. Most importantly, you're going to see if you're falling short in an area or if you're exceeding your goal. So here's why I love the actual numbers versus the goal numbers. It's one thing to have a goal. A lot of people will tell you in real estate you need to have a goal. That's great, you do. But if you have no way to assess where you are in progress to that goal, you'll never hit it. The actual numbers of these goal categories that we're going to talk about, the actual numbers give us a snapshot of today. Where are we at? This week, where are we at? This month, where are we at on pace or progress towards hitting that goal? What that allows us to do is make multiple small course corrections throughout the year instead of getting to the end of the year trying to make up a huge deficit. So the 8 goal categories that we're talking about today that are on the pages we're referring to in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book are as follows. The first one is leads generated. Second, listings. How many listings? Third, contracts written. Fourth, contracts closed. Big difference. Fifth is money. Sixth, people. 7 is systems and tools, and 8 is personal education. So now the reason we break these down, and the reason the authors break this down into these 8 categories, is we all know how goal setting can be the biggest stumbling block to most salespeople. It does not come naturally for us. So what we know is if we don't break this down into main categories that we can then make it as simple as going down a checklist to figure out our goals, we're likely not going to do it. So here's how easy these 8 goal categories make goal setting for you. These are 8 things that you should all be tracking on a regular basis. The first, leads generated. Okay, what we know about all these goal categories is that we should be tracking them and setting goals for an annual goal and tracking annually, monthly, and weekly. Again, that's what we talked about. It allows us that little course correction. So leads generated. How many leads do I need per year to hit my income goal? If you don't have that number or you're lost on how to get to that number, call me, email me, talk to Lori. We've got worksheets that can help you back into this. It's a very simple process. We have the tool that makes it simple. Okay? So how many leads generated do I need annually to hit my income goal? What does that mean monthly? Okay, we're going into the month of January. How many leads do I need to generate in January? Maybe some of you have a seasonal market based on the seasonality of my market to be on pace to hit my annual leads generated goal. The power really comes in too because we can then take our monthly lead generated goal and break it down into a weekly. Now we take the same process of annual, monthly, and weekly for each of the 8 goal categories. This really allows us to take an in-depth look and view and take control of our business so we're not surprised at the end of the year. So I want to talk to you guys about these categories. Leads generated is how many leads does it take for you to hit your annual goal? Listings, self-explanatory. How many listings do you need to take? Contracts written. How many contracts are we writing up? Now the next one, contracts closed. We know that not every contract you write is going to close. You should be tracking your conversion rates. That will tell us the difference here. But we know based on conversion rates that if you want to end with so many deals closed to get to your annual dollar volume or your dollar goal, we know how many you need to write based on how many fall out. Okay, so we should be tracking both. Money, how much money do you want to make? How much money do you want to have in savings? You can take this any way you want to, but what money component are part of your goals? How much do you want to make? What should be in savings? What do you want to pay off? All that kind of stuff. People. Are we growing our team? What kind of people leverage am I going to use? What kind of people am I going to be bringing into my business to help me leverage myself to make more money? Systems and tools. This business is all about systems. If we can systematize it, we should. That's what this is doing for our goal setting, is making a system that we can do every single year to make sure that we actually do it every single year. So what systems and tools do we want to be building into our business this next year, or do we want to be adding to our business? And then finally, personal education. A lot of people don't think about this. A lot of people miss this one on their goal category. Personal education is huge. What do you want to invest in yourself? What do you want to learn? What certification do you want to get? What do you want to have accomplished by the end of 2013 in the area of personal education? So these are the 8 goal categories. I definitely encourage you guys to write these down, put some thought into it. It really makes it simple to where you can look at this list and in a matter of about 30 minutes, walking down this checklist, have all of your goals that I'd be willing to bet for a lot of you are more specific than you've ever had before. Lori, talk to us. How do the 8 goal categories of MREA affect you and your team?
Thanks, Ben. Well, let's see, tracking the 8 goal categories. Those are very important, and I'll just tell you really quickly, right behind me, I thought this was very appropriate, instead of shooting this on a green screen, to actually show you my mind map. So when I came over to Keller Williams from Coldwell Banker, it's not that I wasn't goal-oriented. I'm very goal-oriented, but I have a hard time with tracking. And I understand that comes a lot with our behavioral profiles, those of us that are DIs or high vector 1-2s, if you're learning the ABA, struggle a little bit more than others with some of the tracking. And I've had to get a lot of help with that. But what I do want to point out is that I got very visual, okay? So although I was struggling with some of the tracking in the beginning, and there was so much to track, the 8 categories are great. When we talk about tracking listings and tracking people and all of those, you can even drill down deeper when you start dealing with the MAPS coach, and they're asking you to track how many people you talk to, how many appointments, how many conversions. Those are all going to come into play, and they're all going to be very, very important, because knowing your numbers is magic. But I'll tell you, right behind me, what I did is I went out, this was my first week at Keller Williams, I went out and got this great big board here, and I started tracking. I started getting very visual with everything. So the first thing I did, you're gonna laugh, the first thing I did is I went on the KW reports and I pulled up all the top teams in Keller Williams, because I didn't really even know what numbers to shoot for in the beginning, because the world I came from had much smaller numbers, so I needed to get a good handle on that. Once I did that, I was able to branch out. Over here I've got my people, and I basically took the path to the 7th level here, the path to leverage, and started drawing out, okay, I now need a marketing admin, I need another admin, I need a transaction coordinator, I need buyer's agents, listing agents. So I started blocking those all out like this. Up here in the corner, I actually have next 3 hires: telemarketer, lead coordinator, and marketing person. We actually have all 3 of those now in some capacity. This board is from last year. I've got my big Y up here. I've got a budget model right here for the year, so that we knew based on how much GCI we were planning to bring in. 480, 769 GCI was our number, which we did pass. And here's how much money we could actually spend on each item. I've got our 2013 budget model based on $1 million in GCI and how much we can spend on each thing. So the first thing I had to do was get very visual. Then I went and got this nice black binder here that went with me everywhere. Now I've kind of moved on past it, and I've handed this down to my CEO now. And I actually started a section on everything. I've got production, economics, financials, organizational model, that's the people tracking, the budget section. And then I took each month here, January, February, March, April, May, June, all the way through. And in each one of these I have how many listings we took, how many buyer sides we closed, a comparison to what the year before looked like, our budgets, our complete numbers, our P&L statements in each one of these. And now we've got this great year at a glance. We can actually take a look at everything. I had to do it this way, even though I'm incredibly computer savvy. I was struggling with putting in a computer. I'm not sure why. I had to get really visual about my goals and about my numbers. And anybody who's been in my office, I mean, this is only the beginning. I'm whiteboards and chalkboards and anything we need to get up there and get real visual. So I do believe it's very important to track our numbers, track your goals, follow those 8 categories, and then drill down on some of them more specifically. If you know how many listings you want to take, you might be paying attention to directly how many listing leads, like it tells you to do, is to track the listings, and then you know how you convert those leads to appointments, and those appointments to closings, and that kind of thing. So early on, it's just about 2013, and now is the perfect time to do this. And I beg you to get visual with it, get it in your hands. Knowing your numbers is magic. The worst thing that can happen is to go into the year and not look at your numbers until March or April, and then look down and go, oh no, I'm in trouble. I'm not on track to meeting my goals. If you're looking at your 411s weekly, you're looking at your profit and loss statements monthly, your people chart, how many listings you're taking, all of those categories, then you'll know where to adjust early, and then it won't be too late for you to make sure that you're still on track for your goals. So that's it. I am hoping you guys all have a fantastic holiday and look forward to working with you more in 2013.